All right, so this is going to be an overview for the quick writes. This will specifically be focused on quick write number one. However, it applies for quick write number two, so I'm going to include the video for that as well. You'll have already seen it for quick write number one. If you're watching it again for quick write number two as sort of a refresher, great. So here's the way it works. And eventually I'll be screenshotting, showing you some of the instructions. I'm going to give you a small packet, and it's inside what is technically on Canvas called a quiz. And what that means is it's timed. That's the only item, assignment type that I can use to actually give you a start and end time of 2 to 2.5 hours. 2 hours for the first one, 2.5 for the second one, which is essentially our final exam. So, what does that mean? You're going to go into the assignment, and once you start it, the timer is counting down. It's usually in the upper left corner or upper right corner, depends on your device. I strongly recommend you do not do this on your phone. That would be a mistake. It is challenging to do that. It's not impossible, but it does make it harder because you are trying to read something and analyze it all while scrolling on your phone. So keep that in mind. So the timer starts, you're going to get 2 hours or you're going to get 2.5. At the end of that 2 hours, whatever you have typed up in the submission box is submitted. Okay, so if you forget to submit by the deadline, it grabs what you've written, what is in that box, which means if you're writing this on Google Docs and you're going to copy and paste it at the end, if you cut it too close and you're like, oh, I'll do it now because I got 1 minute left, and then it takes a little while, it's going to submit nothing potentially. And if that happens, I won't accept it via email. I've had students try to do this in the past, and I simply don't allow it. It's not fair to the students who have completed it correctly because I can't guarantee that you are not doing this to get additional time. Because I have had a few, to be honest, dishonest students do that in the past. So if you don't have it submitted by the deadline, if it comes in blank, you are going to get the 50% grade, and that's the end of it. Okay, I don't give you the nuclear zero, but you will only get half credit. So please make sure that you do that. When you start the quiz, you will see a PDF packet that says quick write texts, big blue link. And that is a PDF with 2 poems, 2 short stories. And you will choose one work, not one of each, not one short story and one poem, one work, and you're going to analyze it along the same lines as what we did for essay one, not essay two. And what I mean by that is just straight up literary analysis rather than rhetorical analysis. How effective or ineffective is the author? We're not doing essay two's rhetorical analysis again this semester. Everything else, or this term, everything else is specifically going to be just close reading literary analysis for essay one, essay three, essay four, quick write one, quick write two. Okay, choose one. Ideally, you open it up, you go through. As soon as you find a work that speaks to you, that you can have some kind of response and engagement with, just dig in, start coming up with your thesis statement and your body paragraphs. Now, this is what is known as a 1+3 document. I didn't invent it. I am just a big fan of it. It means it's one sentence plus 3 additional paragraphs. That one sentence is your thesis, and then the 3 additional body paragraphs that follow it, that's the total. Notice that I don't have a full introduction paragraph. I don't have a full conclusion paragraph. I don't need them. I don't want you to waste time writing that 200 or 300 words that could be better served writing, revising, developing, whatever, your thesis and your 3 body paragraphs, which is where your ideas really live in an essay, if you think about it. The rest of the intro, not necessarily your strong argument or opinion. The conclusion kind of wrapping things up, but again, not necessarily new argument or ideas from you. So we are focused on the thesis statement and 3 body paragraphs. That's the 1+3. Now, those 3 body paragraphs, or 4, are going to be as follows. At least 2, if not 3, paragraphs will be straight literary analysis. What is the message, lesson, or point that this work is trying to convey? What is it? How is it being conveyed? Really dig in and give me a straight up literary analysis following the examples we use for essay one, following the instruction that we have gotten from the OER textbook, from the online videos from OSU, among other things. Okay. The last body paragraph, and this is a must-have or the essay will not be passing, is going to be a personalized response paragraph. What that means essentially is that you are going to be digging in and making connections between your personal beliefs or values or experiences and what the author is writing about. So if, let's say, it's a story about bad parenting and you're like, hey, my parents were much better than this, or I struggle with these issues myself as a parent or whatever, you can talk about that. You can draw personal connections. You're going to use I statements. If it's something about, the example I give that I'll show you in a minute is, self-acceptance is an incredibly important strategy that all of us need to take for our own mental health. Maybe that's something that you yourself have struggled with and are working hard towards. And so that's something that you're going to maybe want to convey. Okay. And in doing that, what I just coughed. And in doing that, what you're going to do is have I statements saying, I personally struggle with self-acceptance. It's sort of as the author notes, and then you give a quote or something, like you can engage with the text, but in a personalized way rather than just generic literary analysis. All right. So at least 2 paragraphs of straight literary analysis and a third paragraph, or possibly your fourth. But again, no matter what, at least 1 paragraph will be your personal response. So at least 2 analytical, at least 1 personal response. If you go to 4, that's fine. I wouldn't go beyond that. At some point, it's diminishing return. You're spreading your ideas out over too many paragraphs. Really make sure that the few that you're giving me are strong. Okay. All right. Real quick video sharing, just so you'll know what you're going to be looking at. So when you start, it's going to give you these instructions. Now, these instructions are not they are basically identical to what you're going to get when you actually start the quiz. But here, the timer hasn't started yet. This is just explaining to you what the assignment is. Okay. So what your task is, roughly 100 to 150 words for each paragraph, what a 1+3 document is. Once you start the quiz, you got to make sure that you keep track of your time. If you do it in Google Docs, you are putting yourself at risk. So be careful on that kind of thing. Okay. You'll notice that I give you some instructions here on what you should or should not do in advance, right? You should be reviewing active reading strategies. You should watch the active reading video. Watch this video. That's what this link is for. Review the ER textbook. Watch that video that we watched at the beginning of the semester on looking for deeper meanings. Just that kind of thing. And then here's one specifically about how to ace a timed assessment. Okay. And then here's some more information about what it is that the essay should be. And I've already walked you through that. So your goal in this assignment is to give me your best rough draft. That's it. I don't think of it as a final draft. It is a rough draft. You only have a couple hours. This is a first swing at analysis and response. We're going to engage with those texts or that text, or whatever one you choose. You're going to give me strong quotations and commentary and lead-ins and all that good stuff, effective topic sentences. You're going to give me your personalized response, again, engaging with the text and the author's ideas, but from your own personal perspective in that third or fourth paragraph. Then you submit. Okay, you got 2 hours to do it, which gives you about a half an hour for each paragraph, right? If you're writing 3, and a half an hour to read and develop your ideas. So that first half an hour, find your text, read it, reread it, really dig in. The short stories are literally like 2 pages, single spaced. They're not 10 pagers. So you should be able to read it in about 10, 15 minutes max. Read through it, find your evidence, find what you think is the lesson, claim, or point, and then develop your thesis statement, come up with your body paragraphs, come up with your quotations, start drafting. And then you get a half an hour for each of the next 3 paragraphs. That should be achievable for the vast majority of you if you've been working hard on developing those skills over Essay 1 and Essay 2. All right. But again, I think of it as a rough draft. This is a progress report. I am not that hard of a grader on this. If you've done the assignment with a modicum of accuracy and success, you're going to do fine on the assignment. If you really nail it, it's easy to get an A if everything is dialed in and you're doing the exact assignment that I ask, and you should be good. All right. If you have any questions, as always, reach out, talk to me.